Hello, it is me again, and we are back for another episode of PARANORMASIGHT, The Mermaid's Curse. And we only have one option to choose from, Vision of the Future. Yuna Minakuchi, user heads out with Azami to go diving before he suddenly mentions something he must do. Before returning to the island, the pair go to a certain location at sea. So let me get this straight. This is... Alright. He tells his friend Azami Kumoi, but then suddenly begins talking about something else he must do. Didn't we even have this chapter before? I'm not sure. I could swear that we had this chapter before, and then like this was one of the first episodes, the first or the second episode. Why is it showing new now? This is weird. And I still have to this stupid. Who is it? Oh, Invasion of Taishima new? What? Why is there a new file? Invasion of Taishima. Around 400 years ago, during the Sengoku period, Oda Nobunaga was assassinated at Honno-ji Temple. Kuki Yoshitaka, commander of the Kuki Navy, had steadily been gaining influence within the clan, but he now found himself at a crossroads in an era still wrecked by the turmoil of war. It was then that a vassal of the Kuki clan, Komatsu Sadamune, approached him with some intriguing information. According to Sadamune, 3 mermaids were said to be living on Taishima under the protection of some of the island's residents, even though the island was originally thought to be uninhabited. It was widely known through folklore that eating the flesh of a mermaid granted one immortality and eternal youth. Sadamune urged Yoshitaka to take advantage of this, suggesting that if he possessed such a power, an invincible army would be his command. Seeing this as the opportunity he had been waiting for, Yoshitaka ordered Sadamune to capture the mermaids and bring them back to him. However, Kuki Sumitaka, Yoshitaka's nephew and head of the clan at the time, strongly opposed his approaching Taishima. It was in fact Sumitaka who had secretly been protecting the mermaids on Taishima. Believing the mermaids to be messengers of the gods and the island a sacred sanctuary, he had worked to keep them isolated from outside influence. His adopted daughter, Princess Hatsune, who also living in hiding on Taishima at the time for other reasons, which further strengthened his opposition to Yoshitaka's plan. However, it was not long before Komatsu Sadamune learned of this. He reported to Yoshitaka that Sumitaka was not only planning to keep the mermaids for himself, but was also secretly moving to build an army of his own. Infuriated by what he perceived as an act of rebellion, Yoshitaka gave the order for Sadamune to prepare a military invasion of Taishima. Upon receiving the order, Komatsu Sadamune immediately set sail for Taishima at the head of a large army. Caught off guard by the unexpected attack, Sumitaka scrambled to send out his own forces in an attempt to resist, but was unable to prevent the enemy from landing. In the blink of an eye, the once peaceful and beautiful landscape of Taishima was transformed into a nightmare. The islanders, guardians of the sacred land, desperately fought back, but they stood no chance against seasoned soldiers hardened by years of battle on the front lines, and one after another they fell before the invaders. Sadamune ordered that even women and children be cut down without mercy, and soon the waters around Taishima ran red with blood. Sadamune's forces swept across the island, searching every inch for signs of the mermaids as they pressed their assault. Finally, they discovered a mermaid in hiding by the name of Hayase and captured her. Sadamune demanded that she make his troops immortal, but the mermaid staunchly refused, even as Sadamune turned to torture, inflicting unspeakable pain with every refusal. The torture escalated until eventually even her supernatural nature was not enough to withstand the torment. On the brink of death and resigned to her fate, Hayase gave a fine, terrible cry, overflowing with resentment and anger as she breathed her last. Sadamuni ordered his men to take the flesh from her body, but as they moved to do so, a strange phenomenon began to occur. All the soldiers who approached her body began to transform to fish, their bodies decaying rapidly as the transformation took hold. Hayase had cast a curse upon them with her dying breath. With the one mermaid Sadamuni had captured dead and his forces decimated, he began a mad search of the island in pursuit of the remaining 2 mermaids. Eventually he found a deep cave in the interior of the island that extended far beneath the earth, reaching down to the seafloor. The deepest part of the cave was a shrine and a door with a powerful seal over it that he couldn't open no matter how hard he tried. Convinced this had to be the entrance to the sacred land, the home of the mermaids, Sadamuni gathered all his remaining gunpowder and artillery and unleashed it on the door, destroying both it and the shrine in the process. The next moment, a violent tremor wrecked the entire island, and the skies above were engulfed by a storm. The repercussions of his desecration of the sacred land and the resentment of the islanders he had senselessly slaughtered blended together, unleashing an all-consuming calamity that seemed to shake the very heavens and earth. Ravaged by fierce earthquakes and vicious storms, Taishima sank beneath the waves as if nature itself sought to protect the sacred land by erasing all traces of its existence. Thus were Taishima and the sacred land, along with Sadamuni and his army, lost to the sea in an instant. The only survivors of this tragedy were 2 mermaids and 2 islanders that had successfully made their escape from the island. Hayase had in fact stayed behind as bait to allow the others to escape. The 2 surviving islanders were Princess Hatsune and a man named Sumikawa, who had been assigned the duty of protecting a relic important to the mermaids. However, the tale did not end with the sinking of Taishima. Sumitaka eventually made it to the seas near the island, but a fierce anger and resentment darkened the waters around it. The curse born from these dark emotions, the curse of the raging waves, had given rise to a storm that continued to rage even several days after the incident. Furthermore, the curse born from Hayase's final moments, the curse of the Forsaken Fish, also continued to exert its influence on the area, causing anyone who entered the storm's domain to transform into a fish. The situation had grown beyond anyone's ability to control. Sumitaka, looking for a solution, turned to Tsuchimikado Harukage, a renowned Omnyoji and friend of Princess Hatsune. After conducting an investigation, Harukage concluded that the source of the curse was the sacred land, now sunk beneath the waves. Although the curse was too powerful to dispel, it would be impossible to seal the sacred land by offering up a sacrifice, thereby suppressing its calamitous effects. The seal would last for 400 years, by which time he anticipated that the curse of the raging waves would dissipate. Hearing this, Princess Hatsune volunteered to sacrifice herself in the hopes that it would bring peace to the souls of the islanders who had looked after her during her time on Taishima. With her noble sacrifice, the storm at last died down and peace was restored to the seas around the island. A bronze mirror in Princess Hatsune's possession at the time was imbued with power to serve as a talisman to calm raging waves and was passed from person to person over the years, eventually making its way to Kamishima. Tsuchimikado Harukage was also able to seal the curse of the Forsaken Fish in the wooden accessory that Princess Hatsune had been wearing, turning it into a curse stone. Harukage used the resentful memories contained within the curse stone to create a record of the event, which he sealed within a heavily locked iron box before concealing it in a rock on the seabed. In the event the curse of the raging waves had not abated even after 400 years, he made it so that the seal on the rock would be lifted at the same time as the seal on the sacred land, so that the record of what had happened and the method of undoing the curse would make its way to future generations. Meanwhile, to protect the sacred land and the mermaids, Sumitaka ensured all records of Taishima were erased, so no mention of the island or the disaster that had befallen it would make its way into historical accounts. He also concocted a tale in which Princess Hatsune had thrown herself down a well in defiance of a political marriage in order to conceal her sacrifice. Afterwards, Kuki Yoshitaka, infuriated not only by his failure to obtain immortality but also by the loss of his primary military force, murdered Sumitaka, who opposed him to the very end, and seized control of the Kuki clan in both name and nature. He had his vassals search the area around Taishima countless times after that, but it is said that they found neither the mermaids nor any trace of their existence. The fate of the mermaids. After Harukage sealed the entrance to Ryugu, the 2 remaining mermaids, Nagame and Sobae, were left unable to return home. Nagame, free-spirited by nature and yearning to explore the seas beyond Ryugu, seized the opportunity to travel the world, a journey that would span the next 400 years. Enamored by the idea of a fairy tale romance, she was said to have been enthused? I don't know this word. at the thought of finding her own tale of eternal love as she left. Is this The Little Mermaid? Basically what actually happened as inspiration for The Little Mermaid, I guess. Like with the Western Seas and the eternal love. However, the more serious Sobae was deeply affected by Hayase's sacrifice. Mourning her loss and filled with longing to return home to Ryugu, she spent her days hidden in the depths of Ise Bay, weeping bitterly. This sentence doesn't make sense in my head. Oh, however, the more serious Sobae was deeply affected by Hayase's sacrifice. Okay. The mourning her loss and filled with longing to return home to Ryugu, she spent her days hidden in the depths of Ise Bay, weeping bitterly. The fate of the surviving islanders. Sumikawa, the sole survivor of the Taishima Islanders, saw Sobae's tears and vowed to protect her, promising to do all he could to ensure her return to Ryugu one day. The treasure the mermaids entrusted to him, a tamatebako, has been passed down through generations of the Sumikawa family as proof of the oath being honored by his descendants 400 years later. Well, thank you for tuning into this episode. And, Vision of the future. User heads out with Azami to go diving before he suddenly mentions something he must do before returning to the island. The pair go to a certain location at sea. Alright, what I actually wanted to look at before I made all of this was underwater gathering log, and I still have to collect the stupid star Ise Lobster. Stupid lobster. Anyway, August 7, Toba City, Mie Prefecture, Komishima, Southern Seas. So, what's this important thing you have to do, user? Sounds like it must be a pretty big deal. It is. I just hope you'll believe me. Listen, and don't fly off the handle. What? Okay. Whenever the storyteller appears, something interesting will happen. Please forgive the interruption. I have an important announcement to make. The moment you have been waiting for has arrived. Everything is ready for you to proceed. What? Da-da-dun, da-da-dun, da-da-da-da. On August 7, upon returning to Kamishima after his dive. What is this epic music? What? On August 7, upon returning to Kamishima after his dive, user Minakuchi embarks on the fight of a lifetime. For unbeknownst to him, at this precise moment in time, a slew of predicaments would await him everywhere he turned. As for this really important thing he has to do, that is of course preventing the tragedy of Kamishima from coming to pass. The advent of the 400-year-old curse of the raging waves draws nearer Kamishima with every passing moment. Even so, do try to remember that user's true aims are to locate a mermaid and uncover the truth about his mother. Will user Minakuchi succeed in overcoming these challenges and fulfilling his objective, you ask? That is entirely up to you and the actions you choose to take from this moment forth. Thus concludes my announcement. I wish you good fortune. What is with this mood shift? What? You think Kikuko is plotting to work a curse that will cause a massacre on the island? Yes, you might find it hard to believe, but I'm sure about this. You're gonna have to give me a second to take this in. This is way heavier than I was expecting. I mean, a curse. I know I told you about the Tomokazuki and all, but how did you even find out about this? Have you got any proof? Well, I saw the future with my own two eyes, but I'm afraid I don't have any proof I can show you right now. You saw the future. User, if this is some kind of prank, you'd better cut it out right now. Seriously, this shit isn't funny. If you're just fooling around, I don't know if we can be friends anymore. Do you think it's easy for me to call someone I'm on friendly terms with a murderer? I couldn't say something like this unless I was dead certain. I need you to trust me on this, Azami, before it's too late. Oh man, you're not making this easy, User. I can't just, I mean... No, I understand. I won't ask you to leave me until I can present you with solid proof. Until then, I still need your help. I can't just sit back and let this happen. Okay. I won't try to stop you, but I'm not doing anything drastic till I'm sure we're doing the right thing. That's all I needed to hear. Thanks, Azami. But for real, what's gotten into you, User? What do you mean? I know you're headstrong and all, but this is way beyond what I would expect from you. It's like you're a totally different person. Come on, you're exaggerating. I'm the same old User I've always been. Oh, he's not. He's a doppelganger, which we as players somehow control. Ah, the rat! Huh? What you two doing here? What's with that get-up, User? Don't tell me you've been diving. Kikoko, do you have a minute? I heard you were heading out to the northern shore to fish in the bay today, so I came out to find you. Where did you hear that? I only just decided that this morning. I didn't even tell anyone. Yeah, you little rat! Mockingbird sticker! What? Mockingbird number 11. Mimikyin minus. Nice. There's still a lot of Mockingbird stickers left. If I abort the Sion Maru. Yeah. I think there will be quite a lot of more chapters still. Right, this is where it all begins. This is my chance. I have to find a way to change the future. But I don't have any evidence and I doubt I can just talk Kikuko out of this. You don't do something like that on a whim. Whatever her motives are, they must be powerful. Even if I somehow manage to get a curse stone, there's still the risk that whatever destructive impulse has a hold of her would drive her to make the tragedy happen some other way. That's why my best bet of containing the situation is to try and distract her. I'm going to change the future one step at a time. There's no rush. After all, since we came here instead of heading back to the port, things are already different. True. I don't want to put Kikuko on her guard though. I would better opt for a subtle distraction. We are on the northern side of Kamishima. Not many people come here to fish. Except Kikuko. I can tell Azami is trying to believe in me. That's a good start at least. User, are you sure about this? Just so we are clear, I'm leaving the talking to you. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. Okay. Kikoko's looking at us suspiciously, but I guess that's to be expected. We surprised her here alone after all. Hand mirrors. You've been passing Kamishimaru hand mirrors around to everyone, right? Yeah, I have. Sounds like someone keeps their ear to the ground. So, how many have you given out? Who's got one already? I don't know, I haven't kept track or anything. But if I had to guess, I reckon it would be about 20 or so? Why though? You want one too? If so, I will get one to you later. Oh, no thanks. Don't worry about it. Huh? Cause then you can't kill us! Suit yourselves. They're pretty sweet little items, if I do say so myself. Diving. So were you really out? So were you really off diving? You sure you should be doing that? If Chia finds out, she'll give you an earful, no doubt about it. Don't I know it? Seems everyone thinks I bring this island bad luck just by being here. User. Well, sure, some folks might say that, but it's not as if you've done anything to deserve that kind of talk. I don't see a problem with you becoming an armor diver myself. I appreciate that. Just today, plenty of folks told me not to go diving cause the storm's on its way. But when they don't talk sense, I just ignore them, and so should you. I've been wondering, are you unhappy here on the island, Kikuko? Huh? What makes you think that? I don't know, I just get the feeling you're not planning to stay here as an armor diver forever. Huh, you normally play the fool, but turns out you're a pretty sharp user. Truth is, I can't help thinking of the future. You can earn a decent living as an armor diver if you know what you're doing, but all these old rules and customs tend to get in the way. I've been trying to change them here and there, but it's not good. Everyone's too stubborn to listen. I see, no luck, huh? Mark my words, nothing's ever going to change around here, and just between you and me. As much as I love being surrounded by nature on this island, the culture here just isn't for me. So that's how you feel. Honestly, I am about ready to break ties with this place. Not that anyone else needs to know that. Don't go spreading it around now. Frankly, I had no idea you were so interested in diving, user. Think. Okay. Her office work days. Okay. So, Kikuko, when you left the island, you did some kind of office work, right? Huh? That's true and all, but why are you asking? I was, just wondering if you might have preferred your life back then. I mean, you must have had more opportunities to meet people and go out on dates and all that. Stop right there, as if I don't hear enough of that as it is. What's it got to do with you anyway? Sorry, I didn't mean to pry. I was just wondering if you still kept in contact with anyone. Sure, a few people, just a few. Would you say any of them had a big influence on you? Huh? Seriously, what's all this about? Nothing. Really, I was just curious. Yeah, sweet talker user. Listen, working for that company wasn't exactly a huge break in my career. All I did was pour tea and answer the phone. Huh. Anyway, user, did you really come all the way out here just to chat? Something like that, but I've wasted enough of your time. Thanks for hearing me out. Come on, Azumi, let's go. If you're sure. See you later, Kikuko. You rat! August 7, afternoon, Kamishima Jetty. Right, I know we just got back, but there's no time to waste. We've got to track down and collect all the Kamishimaru mirrors Kikuko handed out as soon as possible. Huh? Why? If I'm right, those mirrors are actually the targets of the curse. No way, seriously? Still, man, all this curse business is a bit much. Look, given what people think of me, I would have a hard time handling this on my own. I'm going to need your help, Azami. I guess we'll have to try and convince everyone the mirrors are defective or something, but we'd better not let Kikuko find out what we're up to. User, I want to believe you, and I'd like nothing more than to help you out. Before I lift a finger, there's something I've got to know. Right. See, I've got a pretty good idea what made you change out of the blue like this. You do? When you were diving before and you came face to face with Tomokazuki, something happened, didn't it? You haven't been the same since then. And come to think of it, does this have anything to do with your search for a mermaid? Okay, I'm thinking a bit, but well, come to think of it, does this have anything to do with your search for a mermaid? You're right, I should have told you the full story to begin with. I've been in such a rush, I got ahead of myself. You're right, something did happen to me, and I will tell you all about it right now if you want to hear. I'm all ears. First of all, tracking down a mermaid is still my end goal. That hasn't changed. At least something's still the same. But what I'm trying to do right now started when I found out about the danger Kamishima is in, and realized I had to do something to prevent it. Are you with me so far? Sure. If I knew the island was in danger, I'd want to protect it too. How did you find out about that anyway? Earlier you said you saw the future. When did that happen? It was when I encountered the Tomokazuki. The moment our hands touched, everything went dark, and then the future unfolded before me. Huh, so it was kinda like a vision from the Tomokazuki, a warning. That's exactly what it felt like. A stream of images filled my mind all at once, together with a rush of understanding. It's like they were imprinted into my memory. I don't know how it works. But I believe what I saw. I know what's going to happen here on Kamishima if I don't do something to change it. So that's what started all of this, huh? Yusa, did you know there was a Tomokazuki there? Is that why you picked that spot to dive? No, it's like I told you, I was hoping to find a clue there, since that's the spot where I encountered a mermaid once before. I never would have dreamt I would end up seeing a vision of a tragedy like that. For all I know, this might have nothing to do with mermaids at all, but now that I know about it, I can't just forget it, can I? Of course not. And now that I know the full story, you can count on my help too. So, seeing as Kikuko's the culprit, I'm guessing we need to collect those hand mirrors to save everyone. Yeah, but she's not the only threat. There's more to this. More? There are actually 2 calamities on the horizon for Kamishima today. 2? You gotta be kidding me! The first is the massacre caused by Kikuko's curse. And the second is the curse of the raging waves, which has been brewing up a violent storm for the last 400 years. It's going to hit the island tonight. Huh! Now you've lost me again. I can't keep up. For starters, why is all this happening on the same day? I don't know. I get the feeling it's just an unfortunate coincidence. There would have been nothing we could do about it either, but since I've been forewarned, I have a chance to prevent it. I'll explain the rest on the way. There's no time to lose. We have to track down every last one of those mirrors. Yeah, there we finally have our pumping up music, like in the first game. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, Vision of the Future, August 7 in the morning. The Tomokazuki gives user a glimpse into the future. He witnesses a cursed massacre, the residents of the island, and learns of the very real peril that is the curse of the raging waves. He also discovers that Sato is being targeted by someone. User starts taking steps to avert these tragedies. Yeah, now we kind of affect the meta layers of this game. I don't know. So I am thinking like User is immortal and the Tomokazuki is, I think it's not his original body, but just I don't know, like a body before his newest one, because they can kind of replenish themselves because of they're made out of weird material, right? This is something we learned. So basically I think we're a doppelganger of a doppelganger, for starters. And for whatever reason, somehow we have a weird time component in this as well. Like, well, we already know that Ryugu, the place of the mermaids, kind of alter time. It's having some kind of time manipulation element to it. And this must be a reason why the user can see the future. even though he encountered a past doppelganger, which came from the future somehow. Yeah, this is why I'm a bit stumped, but I think it will go into that kind of direction. And now we have an alternate timeline leading to the beach episode for Sato as well, even though we that don't have it unlocked yet. For Yumiko as well, and for Arnav as well. Interesting. However, Yumiko and Arnav Barnum have still a very singular route. Yeah. Sessions and Onoura Bridge investigation. Oh man, it's interesting. Well, anyway. Oh yeah! Look at that! It's Mimiki Miners! A cheerful member of Blue's Brutal Beak's hoodlum band. Having taken liking to tit for tat and his rambunctious ways, he spends his time regaling anyone who listens with tales of tit for tat exploits, made all the more colorful by skill at mimicry, a habit which has only contributed to the diminutive delinquent's infamy. And with that I say goodbye, my friends, and we will see each other in the next episode. Hell yeah! Okay, bye-bye.